What do you make of LeBron James? They're saying that he was going to play 82 games this season. Now they're saying, I'm not sure if he can play 82 games. His plus minus is the worst on the Lakers team. Can we just write this off as like, hey, the guy's 39 and father time has caught up with him. No harm, no foul here. It was bound to happen. Let's cut LeBron some slack. This would happen to anybody in their 20th, 21st season. Your thoughts?
Well, Jason, first of all, thanks for having me. As always, a pleasure to be here with you. And look, the reason I reject that narrative line is because longevity is the preeminent feather in the king's crown in his argument for his GOAT status. Like, him playing at these high levels into this advanced stage of his career is what his entire case is constructed around. We know that his peak does not touch not only Michael Jordan, but several other all-time NBA greats. Therefore, it's just the sustainability that LeBron has been banking on. And he has been absolutely terrible this season. You mentioned the plus minus. It is minus 111 currently right now. But beyond that, the on-off numbers are historically abysmal. He is losing 16 points per 100 possessions this season that he is on the court for the Lakers. That means that every 100 possessions he's playing, the Lakers are losing 16 points. To put that number in perspective, like SGA, who's one of the preeminent MVP candidates, is plus 16. Nikola Jokic right now is like plus 30 almost. LeBron is minus 16, Jason. It's because of his laughable defensive effort. It's because the far and away turnover king in NBA history is almost leading the NBA in that statistic this season. When you add it all up, this guy is hurting the Lakers. He's an absolute detriment. And that's really where I impugn LeBron the most for this. It's not the lack of his physical tools or the diminishing of the physical tools in his 20th year. It's the fact that he doesn't care to put in winning caliber plays. He's just storing energy through various stanzas of the game so that he can continue to stat pack and try to build his little hollow box score establishment up here that he's been working on for the last 22 years now. But the Lakers are supposedly a title contender. He's got a top 3 MVP candidate in Anthony Davis. He is actually impairing their ability to challenge and to threaten for an NBA title this year. That's what we should really be taking some points away from the LeBron GOAT case, I think, this year on.
You said something I need you to circle back on and clarify. I'm sure you're prepared for this, even though I didn't tell you. But you said his peak does not touch many other players. So that's not just Michael Jordan, you're saying. Whose peaks were higher than LeBron James's peaks? And you're making me think of, LeBron, when he carried Cleveland to that first NBA finals, that's peak LeBron. And you're saying there's a bunch of people not named Michael Jordan who had higher peaks than that?
Yeah, that's right. If you want to look at that first NBA Finals, first of all, Jason, that was in the putrid, festering turd that was the Eastern Conference back then. He didn't even play a team with a winning record till the Eastern Conference Finals that season when he faced the Detroit Pistons, who did not have Ben Wallace anymore that year. I believe he was in Chicago that season. So the only winning team he got before the Spurs in the finals was until the Eastern Conference Finals. So that was him carrying a team, then getting swept in the finals while shooting 35% against the San Antonio Spurs in a series that was highly winnable. That his third-rated defense for the year held the Spurs to 89 points per game in that NBA Finals series, but yet LeBron couldn't even get one game in his peak. See, when I look at peak dominators, Jason, I look at guys who would have won that championship, who would have taken less or marginal talent and went all the way and won it. Where do we see LeBron James ever doing that throughout the entire course of his NBA career? His first 2 championships came in Miami in stacked, loaded conditions with the super team, 3 perennial All-Stars and Hall of Famers on that squad in Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. He then goes and gets Kevin Love, who's a top 10 player at that time, and ascending Kyrie Irving. He wins 1 championship with that. Then he traverses his way to LA and gets Anthony Davis, who is an undeniable top 5 player in the NBA in the 2019-2020 season when he won his 4th title. Where do we see an example of LeBron defying all odds and leading a team to a championship, a challenging championship? It's never happened. In 22 years, we're still waiting. Conversely, we have plenty of other examples of that. Well, I'm saying we have plenty other examples of that, including Michael Jordan. I will even present to you Kobe Bryant with Pau Gasol as his only other All-Star. Kobe Bryant winning back-to-back NBA championships without another top 75 player in a loaded Western Conference where he's playing 50-win teams in the first round. I will even take you and present Hakeem Olajuwon. Look at this guy. A league MVP, back-to-back championships in 94-95. He won Defensive Player of the Year to go along with an MVP in one of those seasons. He had practically nothing that he was working with from a roster standpoint. Again, a loaded playoff field that he had to face. And he didn't have the all-time help that LeBron had throughout the course of his career, so he doesn't have as many championships. But those 2 titles are as good as anything that anyone has ever won in NBA history. They're better than LeBron's. I'll even, Jason, present you with this. Giannis Antetokounmpo won a championship in his career with Chris Middleton as his second option. Nikola Jokic has an NBA championship with Jamal Murray as his second option. Jamal Murray has never made an All-Star, All-NBA appearance in his entire career. These championships that we've seen recently are much more challenging than LeBron James. I would put plenty of players' peaks above LeBron James, as well as from an eye test standpoint. I think many players have exceeded LeBron James throughout his career. The only thing that props him up and presents him into that top 3 spot, which many people falsely have him at, is the longevity, the counting stats. So we see him continuing to pad those stats this season, and it's in the face of trying to actually win games. It's pretty pathetic to watch.
Let's be honest. The insurance model is broken. Crowd Health puts your health care back in your hands. Use the promo code FEARLESS at joincrowdhealth.com. That's joincrowdhealth.com, promo code FEARLESS. I'm going to give you a couple names that you left out. Allen Iverson carried the Sixers to the NBA Finals with a similar type roster that LeBron had in Cleveland. Maybe worse, who knows, but Allen Iverson, half the size of LeBron James. Isaiah Thomas won 2 back-to-back championships with a lot of good players, but no all-time greats around him. So there's a couple of names you left out that if you really wanted to go further, I think what's transpiring right now is just a reflection of just how narcissistic LeBron has been in terms of this has only been about him and his son playing together and making that bit of false history. And now that he's done that, and now that he's seen that his son is getting no credit, and nor is he getting any credit for it, LeBron has lost some interest. He looks like a guy that's playing in his 20th year, knows that he's not going to win an NBA title. He looks bored and disinterested, and maybe the only thing keeping him active is what you're talking about, padding his stats.
Absolutely. And Jason, the Bronny situation could not possibly have gone worse. They draft him. They steal Dalton Knecht with the 17th pick overall in the draft. Knecht looks like a bona fide rookie of the year. He's at the very least in the top 2 contention for that metric. Dalton Knecht has led this team in scoring twice, including a crazy 37-point game where he made 9 3-pointers, which ties an all-time NBA rookie record. And as all of that is transpiring, Bronny James in this same rookie class is absolutely stinking it up in the G League. This kid is averaging basically 5 points per game on terrible shooting in the G League, similar to what he did at college in his first season. It just looks absolutely pathetic right now. And really, it's a commentary on LeBron. He's hurting this kid's career. Like, the pressure that he must have placed on Bronny to come out of college when he clearly wasn't ready and put him in this environment has opened him up for this kind of criticism. What kind of parenting is this? What kind of tactics are these that we're seeing from him? And now, the whole way, LeBron has been talking about this as if it's an accomplishment for him. Because again, the longevity stats, the longevity metrics. So I think this whole season is just looking like a colossal disaster from the outside looking in. And the Lakers, quite frankly, they're in playoff range and they've been flirting with a top 4 seed line. This is a team talent-wise that if LeBron was playing winning basketball could be a viable title contender. I'm not just saying that. Talent for talent-wise, this roster has the talent to compete for a championship, but LeBron James is not interested in making winning plays and playing winning basketball. He's more concerned with what his stats look like.
How much blame do you put on J.J. Redick, if any?
It's difficult, Jason, to put any blame on J.J. Redick. This guy is so ridiculously unqualified for this position. He has it only because his bestie and wine-sipping podcast co-host LeBron inserted him, basically dictated to the Lakers front office and ownership that this is the guy that we're hiring. So if you're J.J. Redick, and literally the only reason you're there is because LeBron essentially himself hired you, what are you supposed to do other than whatever the hell he asks you to do and wants you to do? The people that should bear the weight of this blame, other than LeBron himself, is the Lakers ownership. What in the world is the Buss family doing? Jeannie Buss, village idiot number 1, who has just constructed this whole 6-year house of cards around LeBron James. This was so inevitable to see coming with the ego on this guy, but Jeannie Buss just kept on bowing at the altar of the fraud king, and now here we are, wasting Anthony Davis's prime away and probably any viable opportunity to win a championship for the next decade. Jerry Buss, the great late Dr. Jerry Buss, would be rolling in his grave right now.
Don't miss a second of Fearless. Hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content.